Hello and welcome to Australia for the opening round of the 2023 Formula Virtual World Championship. My name's Bradley Downton and I'm joined today by Harry Westwood.
G'day Drongos.
And down in the pit lane, Robert Mathershaw.
Right.
Today then, the drivers 60 laps of this 3.8 kilometre circuit. It is slightly different to the layout last year. We've got two more corners, but it was Klaas van Snelheid who was victorious on our first visit to Adelaide. Can he do so again today? Well, he's in the best position as we take a look through the grid then, because he starts from pole. He's got Finn Schneider in the lead of the AMR cars alongside him. Schneider on the softs compared to Klaas on the medium, so watch for the Swiss driver off the line. Behind them, their respective teammates, but up the other way round, Powers and Atici, and this time it's Italian who starts on the soft tyres. Row 3, they're all on softs. It's Enrique Ruiz in the first of the Porsche cars, with Puccio Giordano after a great effort for Ocelotti qualifying, lining up 6th. Timo Kinnaman puts Peugeot Westwood right up there in 7th, with Alexander McLaughlin not too far behind his teammate in P8. Alar Kanga, the first of the Ingrams, out qualifying James Vazquez at the first attempt. Felipe Cesar rounds out the top 10. Will Taylor is just outside in the lead of the Phoenix cars. Thierry Zylander is the highest starter on the hard tyre. Keep an eye out for him then, how that goes on. He goes from 12th. Hoyt Escalar starts his first race from 13th. James Vazquez lines up a rather disappointing 14th. He'll be hoping to get closer to teammate Kanga in the race. Brock Kidd goes from 15th then for North Star, and Felix Perez lines up alongside him on row 8. Hector Draper is immediately behind his new teammate, with Marcus Thunder, the furthest most forward of the new team, lining up in 18th, ahead of Stefan Klein and Yakumi Takahashi to round out the top 20. Max Meyer is the only Lopez on the grid. He starts from 21st. Thunder's teammate Hunter Ryan is 22nd, both of those on the grid, and Daniel Zientek and Johan Halverson then make up the back row. So as we go down to the grid then, it's Klaas van Snelheid in pole position on the right, Finn Schneider alongside him on the left. The lights go out now and we're racing in Adelaide then. It's a shocking start from the poleman, however Klaas van Snelheid goes absolutely nowhere, and Finn Schneider before turn 1 is already through and into the lead. Van Snelheid does recover to second. Behind him, Matteo Zatici challenging Nathaniel Powers for third, and it looks as though the Italian is up the inside. Zatici through then, but it's Schneider who leads. Meanwhile, further back there's a massive gap opened up behind Alexander McLaughlin, and I think it's Puccio Giordano has disappeared down the order.
Yeah, I mean, Cesar has been Cesar, I don't know how to pronounce it. He's been a massive gainer for Ocelot, but yeah, Giordano back in second to last. Hopefully we'll get a replay of what happened, but perfect situation really for Schneider in the AMR.
Yeah, Finn Schneider on those soft tyres absolutely lit the car up off the line, and I mean, Klaas just went nowhere, to the point where Powers nearly ran into the back of him.
It almost looked like he went into anti-stall there, Bradley. He just didn't get going. It's like the car kind of started. Oh, that's no front wing on.
That's Felix Perez.
I don't know if you already called that, so I apologise if I missed it. But yeah, that's not the ideal start for first.
No, it isn't.
But yeah, hopefully we'll get a replay of what happened to Klaas, because as you say, he just sort of started off and then didn't go anywhere. He just sort of stopped any momentum. So yeah, really weird little start, I guess, problem that he had. But he's going now. He's got his teammate behind on, I think, faster tyres. So maybe there might be a bit of strategy to come into play here with some team orders, with Dalton making them shuffle around, at least in this early phase. As we see Klaas, he's still staying with the second now from Schneider, so it's not a bad effort, but it's obviously that gap's definitely going to go up in the future then as they as they go down this now long back straight, which obviously we'll talk about later on in the race. But we are at a slightly different track configuration this time round.
Yeah, slightly longer circuit than obviously we had here last year.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Which obviously again would have impacted the lap count and has us down at 60 laps instead of 70 laps total. But again, that'll be stuff that we can cover as we run on board now with Enrique Ruiz as he rides in 5th place. I think he qualified in the same place, so he's riding really strong. His teammate is hanging on to the back of him, same tyres, so they've doubled up on softs over at Porsche with new management at the helm for this race for the first time in the team's history. And yeah, I'd say McLaughlin. I said I practiced it before the race, and
No, you
I've
nailed
already
it.
got it wrong. McLaughlin,
No, you nailed
he's hey, nice. That makes me happy. But yeah, he's had a surprisingly strong showing in his opening weekend.
Yeah, he's done a stellar job. I don't think anyone, realistically expected him to be on the pace of Enrique Reis. But he's, and okay, he hasn't been, but he's not been miles back, and yeah, running right behind him now. As
we got a move here.
Yeah, that's an overtake there, and that is Takahashi then, Yukumi Takahashi on Marcus Thunder, but puts him on the outside, and he can't quite get that one done then, as we see some of the new colour schemes, especially that bright, very, very bright arrow.
It does certainly draw attention, doesn't it? It definitely lets you know that there is a car there. I do think though it's an interesting change, because obviously their scheme last year, while it was nice, it was definitely, compared to this year, quite a bland palette they chose from.
Yes, I think there's a lot of fantastic liveries out there this year that there are. As I've just noticed, after that start, we seem to have fallen into a little bit of a Noah's Ark order, don't we? Really? I mean, okay, you've got the the AMRs up front split by the two Downtons, but behind, it's most teammates are within a couple of places of one another. As we go on board with Klaas van Snelheid up the inside of Finn Schneider into the hairpin, and through goes the Dutchman back into the lead.
Yeah, and a horrific amount of wheel spin there on exit, as we've got, I think that's Zylander going for a move on Vasquez for the top 10. That's a great move on so it looks like the softer tyres are actually starting to struggle a little bit in these temperatures, because I don't know if you saw, but there was a massive power slide coming out of that hairpin from Schneider there, as he tried to fight back but couldn't. Yeah,
it certainly seemed it. And Klaas then setting fastest lap both this time around and last time. And interestingly, he's caught Finn Schneider and breezed past and back into the lead. Matteo Zatici lining up behind, Zatici now also on the soft tyres, so it'd be interesting to see whether he can clear Schneider, and then what the difference is between Zatici and his teammate. And that'll give us, I think, a really good indication as to how the softs are working in comparison to the mediums.
And this whole time as well, you've got the experienced, wily old dogs really to be considered, of Powers and Ruiz. They're just hanging back a little bit. They seem to be kind of playing this opening sequence a little bit more conservatively, letting it all play out. So there's a lot of different contenders towards the front here, which definitely will be playing a part as this V-Prix unfolds.
Yeah, very much so. I think that's the as we see there. That's, I think, Will Taylor also moving past James Vasquez then. So Vasquez, he had a decent start and gained a couple of places off the grid, but now starting to slip back again, the Colombian. As further back, is that Thunder on Mayer? Or Thunder defending from him? It's got to be Thunder defending from there, hasn't it?
Yes, yeah. I think he's already let Takahashi through, so he's just trying to hold on to 18th at the moment.
Yeah, but I was just going to say, in terms of the battle at the front, then, if we're looking at these, these three teams that are currently filling the top 6 positions, Downton, AMR, and it sounds so good to say AMR at the front, doesn't it? It's lovely, that is, after so many difficult years for the team, and obviously Porsche. I think, McLaughlin's a total unknown quantity, but Schneider looks as though he's in with a really, really competitive car here. I wonder if maybe this is just going to be a little bit of I think there's going to be a lot of learning for him to do this year, essentially, because the likes of Klaas, Powers, Ruiz, they've all been at the front competing for years and years and years.
Even sorry, just to cut across you there, Bradley, we've got Kanga trying to go around the outside of Kinnaman there at the hairpin. And we've got Vasquez having to defend again now from Escala, another one of the rookies for this season. I think one of the only rookies, actually. But anyway, definitely not lacking for moves into that hairpin there.
No, they're not. And it's nice to see that they're trying both the outside and the inside line.
Yeah, definitely. Because normally we have found in the past that some tracks you can just get caught into, there's only really one racing line into the corner and you can't overtake. So, yeah, really positive changes to be seeing here.
Yeah, absolutely. As we jump on board with Timo Kinnaman, then currently sat in 8th. Nope, this is Islander. I looked at him and went, it's definitely Kinnaman, and looked at the timing screen and went, that is not 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, that would be a very, very small 1.5 seconds, maybe in the slow sections. But yeah, obviously a new hire for Peugeot, running decently well, but struggled a bit in qualifying, where he was a couple of tenths off of his teammate, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think that's too bad in a a first outing.
Yeah, true. Obviously, Kinnaman's been with the team since 2021, and before that for many years. As we've got Vasquez really fighting for his life back there in 12th place. Eskel is like piling the pressure on, and they're on the same tyres, Bradley.
Yeah, he's massively struggling on those softs, isn't he, James Vasquez? As we see Puccio Giordano then. We've obviously, we've not seen that replay, but Giordano has, well, he's made up one. Oh no, he hasn't made up one position because Perez obviously pitted without a front wing, didn't he? So Giordano's still stuck there.
And obviously he's got quite a few. The lower midfield had quite a few sort of mediums and a couple of hard runners as well, because he's going to have to make a lot of overtakes for track position because he has to do more stops on the softs.
Yeah, he really is.
Meanwhile, his teammate in his debut for the team is putting in a pretty good effort. He's obviously about 3 seconds back from the top 6, but he's pulled a nice gap out to Kinnaman, and so far he's just running his own race. He's doing a nice job. Yeah,
Cesar in a little bit of no man's land already, isn't he, really?
Yeah, and he's going to be very happy there, as we've got someone who's not in no man's land. Zylander goes for that move up the inside there, and he makes the moves. He puts the pass on Kanga, and that is Zylander into 9th place. So,
it is, and behind him, Escalar's done Vasquez. So both the Ingrams lose a position at the same corner as the two Hawaii cars swap places. Hunter Ryan goes past Marcus Thunder. The new New Zealand outfit with both cars in the race at the first attempt.
Yeah, that's an immensely impressive effort, one that everyone at Kawhi can be very proud of, because just making the grid is quite an accomplishment. Obviously, they are in a bit of a situation as well for the start of the season where they have 2 cars in the Peugeot Westwards that, in all honesty, do look like making it out of every single pre-qualifying session on pace.
You've done it now.
But, yeah, I know. Now that I've said it, I don't know why I've put the curse on myself. But yeah,
you'll have a double engine failure next time out.
Don't say that. I don't want one of those. I don't want any of that. That's don't scare me. Also, we got more drama towards the back. We got Zylander defending. Kanga takes that spot back all over the curb. Wow.
Yeah, great racing here, and it's nice to see them defending as well. Like, we've got cars going to the inside, and then the car in front is coming over to try and cover the line a bit, force them right up tight to the apex, and but we're still getting racing here. Yeah,
definitely. There seems to be a bit more, not aggression, but just sort of strategy in wheel-to-wheel combat here, which is really, really good.
Yeah, very much so. As up front, Klaas van Schnauer just started to open that gap up. It's now 1.5 seconds back to Finn Schneider, who is gapping Matteo Zatici then. So Zatici on those softs, not really able to make much impression. I was going to say earlier, I wonder if Schneider's going to suffer somewhat from never really having experience racing at the front in Formula Virtual, but I mean, okay, we're only 10 laps in at the moment, but he seems to be holding his own for now.
Yeah, he's doing a solid job at the moment. Obviously, he's matching the tyres of the guy behind. He is obviously losing time to Klaas on who is on a slower tyre than him. So we've now got more moves at the back in the midfield, as we've got Zylander now defending from. That's Taylor going past, I think.
It is, yeah.
Yes, so Taylor puts himself in the top 10, relegates Zylander to 11, and now we've got Giordano finally making some moves. He's just put himself in front of the first of the 2 Kawais.
No, the second of the 2 Kawais. We've missed him doing Thunder somewhere, and that was Hunter Ryan. He's gone past, so he's up in the 20th now.
He has, yeah. Oh, and just while we might have a quick lull, we do have some information down in the pit lane. Rob, what do you have for us?
Yes, good afternoon, gentlemen. So, first of all, it's great to be back in Australia, and it's nice to be in the paddock without any pressure. But, yeah, had a chat with the Downton engineers. I think it was just the anti-stall there for Van Schnellheid, but certainly not affecting his pace, nothing else to worry about there. Big shame for Perez. The first guy said there was no significant damage on the car, but obviously after Adam having some fantastic success in other series, unfortunately today looking a little bit more difficult for at least one of his cars. If we have a look at the pit strategy last year with a 70-lap race on the short...
I'm just going to pause you on that there, Rob. We've got to move around the outside now from Escala. The rookie, in his FV debut, he tries it on Zylander. No dice around there, but we've got now Giordano on the inside. That's done before the braking zone. So yeah, sorry, just a couple of really nice battles there going on the field. There's quite a lot going on. Sorry, carry on.
Absolutely. This new layout of Adelaide, I was just about to mention that as well. That the it's a slightly different dynamic with that longer straight, possibly the setup being a little bit more optimised for that part of the circuit. But what it also means is last year's tyre strategy is completely kaput, especially when you consider the fact that temperatures are about 10 degrees hotter today. I think that there might be something interesting to look at in the soft runners, so the likes of Schneider and Zatici, they'll obviously be aiming for lap 20 really to be getting there in terms of the two-stop strategy. But last year they got to lap 25 of 70, so it's obviously the same surface for most of the track. We might see something interesting there though, because of the hotter temperatures. We might see them only just reach lap 20, so look out for that as one of the key things for the race. I think the medium tired runners were nailed on for a one-stopper though, so I'll pass you back with some more racing. Oh, there contact there?
Yeah, sorry, there was contact there then. That was
bit.
Taylor into the back of Alar Kanga then, as behind that is Escalar going up past Thierry Zylander.
Yeah, solid effort there. Obviously, Escalar learned his lesson from the last attempt, gets his car to the inside early, lets his intentions be known, and Zylander, 2 steps harder on tyres, can't really do anything about it. Very good overtake from the rookie.
Absolutely. I was just going to say as well, very briefly earlier, we went on board with both Alar Kanga and Voigt Escalar, the two Estonians we now have in the field.
Yes.
Firstly, Escalar's helmet design on board looks absolutely mega. Secondly, Kanga's makes me think of Blue Peter.
I don't know what to say to that. I didn't watch Blue Peter as a kid, so I can't.
It's just the logo. Because he's got a blue helmet with the Corsair logo on it, which is kind of like a ship, and it just looks... just makes me think Blue Peter.
That they have the Corsair partnership now, yeah. Great partnership. Obviously, Corsair previously having like a small presence in Formula Virtual, now deciding to expand.
Here we go, sorry, there's Taylor again then, up the inside of Alar Kanga, and Will Taylor with another move and puts himself up to 9th. As behind Vasquez on Zylander then.
Yeah, and Giordano on that is Maya, the lone Lopez in their not the home race, is it? It's team owner's home race. But yeah, Giordano finally starting to make some moves, but it might be too late in the stint with, as Rob was saying, perhaps only 5 or 6 laps left before they're looking to pit.
Yeah, very much so. And I suppose we probably need to cover that off a minute, don't we? The lone Lopez.
Yes, yeah. Obviously, Alvarez notably absent from the qualifiers for this V-Prix, which was a bit of a shock, really, to everyone.
A huge shock, especially with it being Alvarez. But then, you know, Mayer really did put the manners on him last year, I think, to the surprise of most of the paddock, at least in qualifying. I think Alvarez, you know, generally got his revenge in the races. But yeah, to not see Alvarez on the grid for this opening V-Prix of the season, a real surprise. But you know,
more racing here. Taylor up the inside now of Kinnaman, obviously going for that move. Yeah, he's got it done nice and cleanly, as that is Vasquez defending from Zylander. So Taylor up into 8th place now, and
another one from Giordano.
Yes, yeah. Is he going to make it around the outside? He's just had to back out. He's running. Whoa! Contact maybe there on the exit. It looked like.
Yeah, I think he just got a little wiggle. Couldn't quite get that one done, but. Yeah, Giordano starting to make the progress now, isn't he? But then, as is Will Taylor. Taylor's made like 3 or 4 moves in the last 5 laps.
Yeah, and now he's got a nice bit of clean air in front of him. And you know, the first thing he's going to be thinking of doing is setting right off and chasing down Cesar.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Just because I don't know why in my head I've convinced myself it might be Chaser. But I mean, this battling's definitely helped him out. He's got himself a nice. Was 3 second, now 2.5 second gap back to the rest of the midfield. So be interesting to see what Taylor can do about that.
Yeah, it certainly will. It's just to flick back to the back end of the tail end of the grid at the moment. obviously, as we were saying, both Y cars have made the race, but there we've got an overtake, and that is
Oh.
Kanga on the inside of Timo Kinnaman. Now our Kanga goes up into 9th place then, and pushes Kinnaman back down. So that good start from Westwood then, when they were running 8th and 9th early doors, is falling apart a bit now, as Giordano there has got ahead of Takahashi, cuts across him in the braking zone, but has got the move done. I think they might have just avoided contact.
Yeah, well, while it did look like a little bit of contact there, you know what they say, rubbing is racing, and that was close, but an aggressive but fair overtake. And yeah, as you said before, Giordano really making the moves now.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to finish up on the point from earlier, so Johan Halverson has got one of the Maseratis into the race. Unfortunately, his teammate Will Hoskins didn't manage to qualify, but unfortunately for SRT, the third of the new teams, they didn't get either car in. Neither Danilo Farini or Jean Matson could quite make the cut. Farini was close. He was 7th in pre-quali and nearly there, but wasn't quite enough. And also, we only have 24 cars on the grid, despite there being 30 entrants, because Lamborghini did not make the cut.
We're going to see a move potentially. Sorry to cut you off, but Escalar is trying it again around the outside. Seems like he hasn't entirely learned his lesson from earlier. Kinnaman defends, but it feels like it's only a matter of time as Giordano then makes a move on Klee and lifts himself up into 16th place. So again, continued good work from the Italian, and Escalar still sort of feeling out the paddock, feeling out how everyone drives, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Giordano and that Ocelot are showing really good pace here. Actually, it will be incredibly disappointing to them. Don't get me wrong, to have had whatever incident they had early doors and slipped back. But it's surely they'll be somewhat chuffed by the strong pace that Cesar's showing and the ability at which Giordano is able to fight back through the field here.
Yeah, obviously, especially with them adopting, at least it seemed quite late from the announcement, a new powertrain for this season. So there's a lot to sort of redesign around that, and it seems like they've really done a good job in their taking that on board and making their car work with it. As Escalar goes for the outside again.
I tell you, that's a hell of a run he's got though this time, but still Kinnaman is able to cover off the inside line. And just keep the Estonian at bay for now.
Yeah, for now, as you say, obviously.
That's a little Baltic group there, isn't it? Estonian, a Finn, and another Estonian.
Yeah, that's true.
Crikey, they're taking over.
We got too many Balkans in the. I don't know if can you call them that? Is that?
I don't know.
Don't know. I think I'll just steer away from that term until I know it's okay. Good spot there. Everyone from sort of same little gaggle of countries. At least in those 3 spots.
Yeah. What are we making of some of the gaps appearing up front then? Obviously, Class French now are 2.5 seconds clear. Mediums compared to the softs. Schneider and Zetici are only about a second apart, but then Powers on the mediums again is a further 3.5 seconds back.
For me, I mean, it's early days, but you have to look at, as again Escalar tries it around the outside. I don't think Kinnaman's going to give this one up easily though, because obviously with the tyre difference and strategy, this is so important for Kinnaman to hold this position. And obviously he has done that, but again, I don't know why Escalar's not really going for that inside unless Kinnaman's really covering it off aggressively.
I was going to say, Escalar's not going for the inside line, but is he getting the chance?
True.
Kinnaman, he knows how to defend. He's been in this game for a while. I should imagine he is intentionally forcing him to the outside time and time again.
Yeah, very true. But it's nice to see really hard but respectful racing from everyone involved. It's nice to and as you said before, again, it is making such a nice change. Even just we're not even a third of the way into this race, and it is nice seeing that sort of change of approach. Like people can take different lines in. So really benefiting from it at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a cracking race so far. Then is on board with Oit Escalar. And still hunting down Timo Kinnaman for that final points position. He's got a run here, and this time he is going to go to the inside. On board with Escalar, up the inside, into the hairpin, and surely this is going to be job done for the Estonian. Through he goes into the points.
Yeah, he's finally caught Kinnaman napping a bit there, or just managed to get his car up the inside with a better run. Excellent effort from Escalar. and he's again, he's still only a couple of positions back on his teammate, who we proved last year is quite an immense talent to have behind the wheel. As we've got now Perez making a move, he's finally getting his way past Halverson.
Wow.
So Halverson finally gets relegated to the final slot as we see this. Oh, I didn't know there's the Stellantis logo on there. Very cool.
Yeah. He was clear before the braking zone as well there, Perez.
Yeah. So he's definitely got the grunt in a straight line, but obviously Rob mentioned something about them having some potential damage earlier. I don't know if I caught it right, but
I think he said no damage other than the front wing.
Oh, right, then I definitely didn't catch it right. But yeah, no, it's a shame that it's taken him so long to catch up to the back, but when you consider he had to make up essentially a pit stop, you know, it's going to take time.
Yeah, absolutely. As we tick just past the 1/3 race distance and gap up front. Just approaching 3 seconds between Klaas van Schneider and Enrique Ruiz. I'm so used to it being Ruiz up there as his contender, but between Klaas and Finn Schneider, as there we see Puccio Giordano now getting himself in between the two North Stars, so he's just passed one of the rookies in the field, Hector Draper.
I'll tell you one of the things that I'm thinking about while I'm watching this, Bradley, is Zetici, if Klaas is able to extend a 3-second gap on a car behind with faster tyres on, like the Schneider has the softer tyre compound, I do not really understand how Zetici is able to just sort of not get within a second, because he can't get within or he can't stay at least within a second of Schneider. It's really strange to see in the same car a driver struggle so much.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I have thought the same thing.
I'm sorry, I realised after I said it that I kind of pushed you into an awkward spot there where there's not really a good way to...
No, you bang on. I have sat here going, what are you doing? But yes, I very much agree. He doesn't seem to be making an awful lot of progress at the moment. But hopefully he'll wake up somewhere later in the race.
I mean, you do have... I mean, obviously there's like now a nice gap from... Because Klaas, I would imagine, even with these two being a bit closer, I would still say Klaas is probably keeping the most watchful eye on Powers. He's only about 7 or 8 seconds back. But he's obviously on 1 step harder tyres, which means one less stop, which means 7 or 8 seconds. As it stands, it might not cut it. Obviously, we're only a third of the way through, but I reckon that's who Klaas is going to be looking at today, especially given Zetici's either lack of will or lack of ability to make it through Schneider.
Klaas and Powers are on the same tyres. They're both on mediums.
Yeah, that's... Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm stupid.
Pits! Right, we've got Schneider and Zetici in. Rob?
Yes, so first pit stops of the season here. It'll be interesting to see whether or not the Downton team, of course, well versed in pit stops right at the front, can get an edge on Schneider and the AMR team. But Schneider there with 3.6 second stop, and Zetici a bit long, but it's because he was blocked with the position there of the pit stall compared to the AMR. So actually, Schneider there looking pretty good.
Yeah,
and
that's worked
risk
out
there with Cesar, but he's just out ahead.
Yeah, that's worked out nicely for Finn Schneider then, who rejoins in third. Zetici, as you say, just ahead of Cesar in P4, and it's Ruiz who's come out with a little bit of traffic. The Brazilian got Will Taylor and Felipe Cesar to have to try and battle through then, as we see some of the back markers in, Puccio Giordano, Max Meyer, James Vazquez as well in, and Vazquez has lost a whole heap of places there, and that just goes to highlight how close it is in the midfield. Oh,
I think
Porsche double stop.
I was going to say the other thing to bear in mind there is Alexander McLaughlin. He was in 6th place, but with that little gap back, it's actually mired him in the midfield, so it'll be interesting to see how he can get through with this kind of mid-stage of the race.
Yeah, McLaughlin, who dropped about 9 or so seconds behind his teammate then at the point they pitted, and it's made, 6-7 places difference, as there we see Escalar and Alar Kanga, the two Estonians, going wheel to wheel, but Kanga holds him off for the time being. And yeah, now it's going to be interesting because we're going to get to see some of these guys start to fight their way back through the field. Ruiz already on the back of Will Taylor, as behind that is Vazquez fighting his way past the Entec.
Yeah, as we've got there comes Escalar, as expected for the stop. But yeah, this is the part where some of the faster teams can be separated from the slower, because obviously it's very difficult to make your way through traffic. So pit strategy seems to have not fallen on the side of McLaughlin this time.
No, it certainly doesn't, as Escalar rejoins out in 16th, then just ahead of James Vasquez, so he's kept that position then as we go on board with Enrique Ruiz chasing down Will Taylor. And surely on those fresh soft tyres he'll have this move done this time down the straight and into the hairpin. He's already gaining so much speed, and I think, do you know what, I think he's going to be through before the corner. He goes for the inside line, there's absolutely nothing Taylor can do about that.
Yeah, moved over nice and early, made sure that he claimed that inside, because that does seem to be the way forward. His teammate following suit, passing, that is Brock Kidd for 11th place. Obviously not net 11th, but we will work that out as it goes. But yeah, looks like that is the way to pass.
To be fair, it probably is net 11th. Because if Kidd's on mediums, they've both got one stop to go.
True, actually, yeah, very good point.
Schneider sets the fastest lap. And Schneider, sorry to what's it, but Schneider's taken 2 seconds out of his teammate on that lap.
Yeah, that is an immense effort. So it does look like while the softs maybe do start to fall off about halfway through the stint, they definitely do have, at least early on in their life, they have immense pace that the drivers can utilise.
They certainly do. I've just noticed the gap between the leaders has come down as well. Are we in a position now where class is starting to catch a back marker or two?
Already? We're not even halfway through. As through goes Ruiz there on, that is Cesar, I think. Yeah, so puts himself back in 5th place. Very good effort from the Brazilian. And there is his teammate putting the moves on. I think that's Zylander, and he's entered the top 10.
I reckon, yeah, no, I don't think Klaas has actually caught back markers. As there we see Escalar fighting his way back through, and he goes past Takahashi. Yep. And Vasquez is going to follow him through. Takahashi going to lose 2 in 1. Can Vasquez do the pair of them? No, he can't quite. He got a wheel up the inside, but Vasquez couldn't quite do Escalar as well.
Yeah, it looked like they had a little bit of front left to right rear contact there, just because I don't think that Vasquez expected him, but really, sorry, Escalar expected him, but yeah, really good attempt there, and it just shows how quickly traffic can catch you out here.
Yeah, very much so. As I was just going to say, I think McLaughlin must have a set of binoculars, and he's looking up the road and seeing what his teammates doing and going, I can do that as well.
Yeah, I think that's the only way. I mean, he should there you go, he's just seen him go around another corner. And he is going to pull another textbook move here, I'd imagine. Kinnaman, older, harder tyres, slower car, and yeah, no real.
There's no defence, really, is there?
There's nothing. There's no point defending that, is there? They're in different races. At the end of the day, the Porsche does look sort of the third, at least the third fastest car on the grid. As once again we've got.
Did you see the straight line speed? As again, Vasquez has got a wheel at the inside of Escalar. Into the oh, it's behind Clean. So lucky and fortunate to hold on to that on the curve then.
Yeah, huge moment there from the Austrian. That was definitely sketchy, especially considering he is their highest running car currently. But he'll be glad to have just made it out of that situation in one piece. Yeah,
absolutely. That could have so easily gone wrong and seen the first spearing into the barrier at the other side of the circuit. But yeah, just about held that one then, the car control. Stefan Klein, he's learned something from last year at least.
Oh yeah, I think he's learned enough to, obviously he got outpaced I think by Perez in
yeah, I didn't mean that as in like a harsh
I was going to say, I was like, I don't know,
sorry.
I thought you were trying to dunk on him.
No, absolutely not.
But yes, no, definitely. In that case, yeah, it does look like one of the things he's absolutely picked up from his first season last year. As we look at that, is I think Giordano looking for yet another move. That's going to be on his former teammate Ryan. Yeah,
Giordano there, and again, nice it's fairly easy for him. He's probably getting a bit of deja vu at this point. I'm sure I passed all these guys once.
Yeah, he's like, hang on a minute, I know that one. But
how many cars have this team turned up with?
much better progress though this time round than he had with his first stint. Obviously, whatever happened might have caused some damage perhaps, and maybe they had to adjust the balance of the car, or
Yeah, he
maybe
did get
it's
a little
just the fact
stuck
that he
initially,
burned out
didn't
his...
he?
Yeah, exactly. And now he seems a lot more comfortable over through the field. So all is not, I mean, obviously they have Cesar in 6th anyway, but all is not yet lost for Ocelot.
No, absolutely not.
As we look at that is Kanga, I think, under attack from McLaughlin. And yeah, no contest. That is McLaughlin straight through.
McLaughlin's just driving fast cars for fun at this point, isn't he?
I know you were saying, like, it'd be interesting to, like, obviously, see how he deals with the traffic, but he's putting in a stellar effort of getting through cars.
Certainly is. Escalar puts the moves on Hector Draper then. Vasquez can't follow him through this time, so Escalar will be using this to try and get a bit of a gap as behind Giordano passes the Entec once again.
Yeah, he was ticking them off the list. Now he's just having to add like a second tick to each one. Oh, so we've got, there you go, lap traffic just before the halfway point. So not the ideal sort of moment for Maserati, obviously with factory
they're
backing to be this far off the pack. Well, yeah, I do hear you, but my point was just going to be they have factory backing from a prestigious manufacturer, and then you've got a privateer like Kawai, and they are comfortably ahead of this team.
Although Kawai essentially have factory backing anyway, they're the only team running Toyota engines for the first time in Formula Virtual since 2013.
Did we ever have Toyota?
Yeah, Fun ran with Toyota at one point.
Oh, yeah, that checks. I forgot about Fun. Fun was a great team. Fun was the team that Kinnaman made his debut for. It was a fun little...
Absolutely, sorry.
Oh,
Vasquez has passed Hector Draper, but look at that, he's lost 2 seconds to Escalar in the meantime.
Yeah, it does look like that hairpin is the only overtaking spot, really, like the only realistic one on the track. So if you can't get it done there, you're stuck for a lap. That's it. That's your day.
Despite the fresh tyres.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is... Vasquez will be disappointed with that. I think, so far, I mean, we're only at the halfway point, but he can be disappointed, I think, with how his race has gone compared to how he normally gets on, But I feel like he's grown a bit used at the same time. He might have perhaps grown a bit used to Matson, who isn't as much of a threat, I would say, these days in the races as Kanga is, as that's another move there from McLaughlin as he puts himself into 7th place.
Yep, he does. He's nearly back to where he was before he pitted them, which I think has been, a really, really solid stint from Alexander McLaughlin.
I've only just realised as well, Taylor has actually caught the back of Cesar now. He's obviously it's taking him some time, but he's on the back of the Ocelot now, so we could be in for a really good scrap here.
Yeah, he absolutely has. So Finn Schneider then is close to within 2 seconds of his teammate now then, so both Schneider and Stici on those soft tyres starting to come back towards the front runners.
Yeah, obviously a really solid effort so far from Schneider, but worth noting, he's going to be coming up on that point of the stint where, at least in the first stint, his tyres did start to go off. So his progress might slow, but I'd imagine we'll have class and the medium runners in within the next few laps anyway.
Absolutely, as that is Alexander McLaughlin then pulling out and going past Felipe Cesar. And the Kiwi back up into 6th position then, where he was before he pitted.
Yep, so some really, really solid work this stint. Obviously, as you mentioned, he might struggle to get through, but hats off to the rookie. What, is he a rookie? As we've got Giordano, making a nice tidy move around Takahashi.
Depends what you're defining as a rookie. He did one race last year, didn't he? But, I mean, I think for the purposes of it, he's still essentially a rookie.
Oh yeah, he raced for Highwind, didn't he? Oh man, I miss Highwind.
I think we all miss Highwind.
Yeah. What just like genuinely a team that's just loved by all.
Absolutely. So here we go then. This is the 2 AMRs, nose to tail. Powers leading Schneider. Schneider on the fresh softs. Powers on the now wearing mediums. We are past the halfway point, so the medium runners will only be doing one stop in this race unless something goes a little bit wrong for them, unfortunately. But what do AMR do here then? Because surely surely the smart play is to let Schneider
Ooh.
through.
Yeah, I mean, given they're past the halfway point, I would have probably looked to just hit Powers and get that
Well,
undercut going.
Yeah,
But,
there is that as well.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to lead them to it. Obviously, AMR not used to even being near the podium, let alone, you know, having two cars scrambling to be on it.
Well, at no
So-
point have they ever had a podium finish.
They still not had a podium.
They've still not had a podium. This could, I don't want to jinx it, but, you know, they've got both cars right up towards the front. This could well be their first ever one at home.
Yeah, that, to be fair, what a better place, you know, like, that's amazing that they could do it at their home
I'll tell you what, I don't think Schneider's, I don't think Powers is going to have a
There we
choice.
go.
Schneider's just driven by him.
He really has. There was no contest. Obviously, Powers, oh, it's a bit of a slide out of that hairpin, though. Tyre's starting to go off, maybe. But, Class still not pitting, it doesn't look like.
No, the medium-tired runners still not diving into the pit lane then as Class goes through and starts lap 34. He's now got 10.5 seconds back to finish Schneider then, so when he pits, he will be behind the Swiss driver. But as that Cesar, it must be Cesar defending from Taylor then, because I saw the names flicker on the timing tower. So Taylor must have got alongside him, but yeah, so Schneider will take the lead then when Klaas van Snelheid pits. But he's got a lot of time to make up. I wonder how much he can chop out of that gap. He's already a second clear of his teammate, but not really taking any time out of Klaas.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, part of that could be due to the fact that he did have to sit behind Powers for a whole lap, so it'd be interesting to see, like, a lap or two in clean air. But, yeah, obviously, it'd be nice for Schneider to retake the lead. I mean, there's only... I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it.
Zatici on the outside of Nathaniel Powers then, but is he going to make that work? Do you know, I think he might. He's still got the traction, he's got the tyres, and Zatici does go through his Powers, gets very sideways, but catches it, and just holds on as into the pits comes Klaas van Snelheid. Rob?
Yep, so Van Snelheid in for his one and only stop here. It looks like it's a pretty clean stop. It's a little bit slow though, to be fair, so about the same as Zatici's first, despite the fact no one's in the pits there. I don't think it'll be the difference maker, but it's interesting to note that both of the Downton stops have been slower so far than their AMR counterparts.
Yeah, absolutely, and crucially for Klaas van Snelheid then, he's out in front of Enrique Ruiz, so he's got about 5.5 seconds of clear air, and this is working out very, very nicely, you have to think, for the Dutchman so far.
Yeah, it's a well-controlled effort so far from Klaas van Snelheid, who... it's hard to look past him, not just for the favourite for this race, but just as the favourite for this.
Don't say it!
This year. But it is... Unfortunately, as they go... Oh, there was a bit of like a Schumacher hack in that moment there on the straight as... oh, that's unfortunate. We watch Powers get hung out to dry a little bit as he tries to get past Halverson, but can't do it. Halverson holds on to track position, I guess.
Look how much time Zatici's lost to Schneider in that.
Oh, as in comes Powers. But yeah, huge amount of time. Schneider now has a nice big gap to sort of push and not really worry about from behind for a little while, which is kind of the opposite of what Klaas needed from his teammate. He really needed Schneider to be under pressure so that he couldn't really relax and just settle into hot lapping, but we'll see how it unfolds.
He did, although Klaas is taking absolute chunks of time out as Powers rejoins. And Powers rejoins with McLaughlin, and there's contact there at turn 2 then between the former, five-time world champion and the near enough rookie, but I think they might have both just about got away with it.
Yeah, it looked a bit sketchy, but I didn't see any parts coming off, and their pace still seems to be fairly normal. So hopefully they've gotten away with it, but we'll see in the next few laps at least.
Yeah, absolutely. That battling as well cost Powers an awful lot of time compared to Klaas van Snelheid. He's now nearly 15 seconds back, whereas just before the stops he was only around 10.
Oh yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah, but I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry, my brain just went blank. Also, we've got a potential move here. That's Taylor. No, there's Escalade done before the hairpin there. Gets his way past Zylander. Okay, Zarlander doesn't have to stop here. Escala still has one left to make in about 5 or so laps, but I'll leave the strategy up to our pit lane correspondent.
Yes, absolutely. So is that Kid must be on the hards as well then, surely in 9th.
He is, yes.
As Giordano's fighting his way back through, up to 12th now, actually running ahead of his teammate at the moment. Cesar looks as though he's struggled to come through the traffic. In fact, he's behind Taylor. And
Who's
Kanga.
that? Sorry, I wasn't. Oh yeah, that's a really. Was he not? Wait, no. Kanga was behind Escala before.
Yeah, but Cesar was in a very comfortable P7, wasn't he? Like clear of the Phoenixes and the Ingrams. And throughout the pit stop phases, it seems as though he's lost a bit of that.
Yeah, I mean,
as Klaas van Snelheid bangs in a fastest lap on the mediums.
oh wow, that's got to be what, like half a second better than it was before. That's quite an effort.
Yeah, it's solid indeed, and he's got the gap down to his teammate under 3 seconds, and he's what, less than 6 off the lead. So looking, yeah, it is looking good for the Dutchman at the moment. He's 4.5 seconds as well, clear of Ruiz, and they were nose to tail when they came out of the pits. Meanwhile, behind, Powers has pulled 4.5 seconds clear of McLaughlin after driving into the side of him.
Yeah, so you know, just casually. Well, I mean, he didn't really bully his way through. It's just the nature of the pit lane exit, isn't it? So, but yeah, looks like then there was at least no damage to Powers' car. But yeah, we do have some info down in the pit lane there. Rob, what do you have for us?
Yes, I've been down to go and see the guys both at AMR and at Porsche. As you say, Powers' car looking all right. McLaughlin not necessarily with an issue, but I think it might have rattled the rookie a little bit there. But no, nothing major to report from either side.
Yeah, thanks for that, Rob. Totally understandable. That as we see a bit of contact as Vasquez makes his way past Kid, and there's a nice clean overtake as well for him. Oh no, never mind. There's contact again between the
teammates.
Ocelots. Yeah, I think that's Giordano trying to get past Cesar, and Cesar's having none of it. But
no, that's got to be Cesar coming back through, because Giordano was ahead a second ago.
Was he? Oh,
yeah.
I thought they had the other way around. But yeah, no, as you were saying, Rob, completely understandable to be a bit sort of shaken up by some contact, especially with when you're in such a position with the most successful driver in the history of the sport. So hopefully McLaughlin can settle back into a rhythm here.
Absolutely, as we go on board with former race leader Klaas van Snelheid then in 3rd place, and now closing up to the back of his teammate.
Oh boy.
Now, just bear in mind then, these guys have both made one stop, but Zatici has to pit again. So Klaas has essentially, in 2/3 of this race distance, pulled a pit stop on his teammate.
Yeah, that is...
That's a yikes, especially on the medium tyres.
It is a pretty poor effort, yeah, from... I mean, I don't know if it's...
Oh, he's going for it! He's going for it! Klaas van Snelheid then, down the inside, Zatici's not going to fight it. That's probably sensible, but Van Snelheid goes through into 2nd then.
Yeah, so obviously, I know obviously you have a policy of letting the guys race, but I can't imagine it's even in Zatici's best interest to fight. At this point, it does feel like the Italian's in a different race entirely from...
At this point, I'm starting to wondering if he's in a different car, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, that's true as well.
I feel like maybe we might have left the spanners in his car or something, and it's weighing him down. Actually, I think from what we've seen so far, the spanner might be in the driving seat.
Some really harsh words coming out there from his boss. I'm not going to lie, that's brutal.
Well, he needs to pull his finger out, doesn't he? As Will Taylor goes past Brock Kidd and puts himself back into the top 10.
Oh yes, I didn't even see that. Yeah, very good spot. And Kidd, it's interesting how the hard tyres, because they weren't obviously the most fantastic choice last year, and this year again just looks like they're not really kind of switching on around this street circuit. I mean, they're obviously, you know, going to be on very old tyres at this point anyway, but it doesn't really look like the drivers on the hards are able to put up any real kind of defence.
No, it certainly doesn't. They are struggling, but then, I mean, Zylander's, you know, he's still sat up in 8th. You know, a lot of the guys around him are going to have to make another stop yet, so that's still a lot of ground they're going to have to make up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And we must be getting towards that point, actually, of the second stops for the soft tyres.
I think we're looking at around kind of 3 to 4 laps time. I think it was about lap 22 or 23 in the end for the first stop.
Okay. Since we're approaching sort of like a 3/4 distance in the race, what do we all call favourites for who we think's going to win it? What do you reckon?
Ooh, I like that. I like this. This is good.
Yeah.
I think that there's only one driver really that you can look not far beyond, but in the interest of making it good TV, we all have to pick someone different. And I'm
going for Class.
I'm going to pin the colours to the master I've always been, although they are new colours that look absolutely exceptional. Enrique Ruiz in a shocker.
Oh, okay, I'm on board with that. I like that.
Old loyalties die hard and all that.
Yeah. I mean, that's totally understandable. And also, I would just like to echo the point that Golf livery looks absolutely lovely.
Does. Yeah.
Both in the showroom when it got showed off and out on track, it's beautiful. It's kind of like it just embodies the fact that you know, something can be simple and beautiful. You know.
Yeah, very much so. I agree wholeheartedly on that. As I'm just going to touch on, Klaas van Snelheid is right with Ben Schneider.
He is, yeah, and they're coming up on traffic as well. So
and the traffic is going to steal the show here.
Yeah,
we've got Yukimi Takahashi going past under Ryan then for 19th.
But in regards to predictions, obviously, Bradley, you've said Class. I don't know if you wanted to expand on that at all, or if you're just happy to leave it as it is because you don't want to curse him anymore.
Pit stop ahead!
He is a lot. Yeah, he is. Personally, I still really like the shout for Powers to win. It would be a sort of like a fairy tale return to the sport after missing most of 2022, thanks to an incredibly irresponsible team owner. But he's in a fast car, he's driving decently well, and with some of the chaos that Adelaide can provide, well, you know, you never know, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to say it'd be a hell of a way to win to get your first podium, wouldn't it, as well?
It would. Yeah. So that's exactly what I was just going to touch on there, actually. It would be not.
Sorry,
you know,
did I just steal your chips?
No, that's all right. It was a slightly different point, but related. But you know, Power's coming back. It would be lovely to see him, pick this up. But I'm just going to cover this because Schneider and Klaas go either side of the back marker that is Hunter Ryan. But and there's contact. There was contact into that hairpin. Then sorry, I missed that one. But I think they might have just about got away with that. But no, I was going to say, yeah, it'd be lovely to see Powers return and pick up a great result. But you know what? Schneider has worked for so long to as he's in the pits then with Zatici. Rob, do you want to just cover that?
Yep, he's in, he's out, he's
3.5 again.
And I'd say another brilliant stop there from Schneider with Zatici 4.3. It's consistently 6 to 8 per second that the AMR guys have been gaining on the Downtons in the pit stops. It's a pretty impressive performance. Although Ruiz there with a 4.5 second stop. I think some of the Porsche mechanics have perhaps celebrated last year's success a little bit too much there.
Yeah, definitely. Ruiz rejoins in P6 then just behind his teammate, but McLaughlin will follow him in next lap round surely. But yeah, no, I was just going to say it'd be lovely to see Powers return and get a great result for AMR. But you know what? Schneider has slogged away with that team for so many years. I think it would be way more fitting if he was the one that was able to take AMR's first podium.
Yeah, I agree. I think, obviously, having worked with Schneider in the past, he's a great guy, great lad to work with. You look at his career, and he's really had to work for what he's had. He went up against Kinnaman in his rookie season, in obviously Schneider's rookie season. Not obviously. Anyway, and then had to go from a car that nearly challenged for a win and got very unlucky. We won't talk about Monza because I don't like to. Then his team folded just like that the next year. He got picked up by AMR, and as you say, had to endure probably one of the longest 5 years you could possibly imagine. He's finally in a car that can get shit done, and yeah, I agree. I think it would be nice to see Schneider take their first podium. It would be nice to see Schneider take their first win. His first win, because he deserves one, and the team deserves one based on the car they've made. But yeah, fully in agreement. I think Schneider would be the fitting one to do it.
Playing devil's advocate there for a second, I'm not sure Misters Arnello, Milner, or Ronson could give a kangaroo's what's it. Which one of them won?
Well,
I think both of them were going to be pretty pleased.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Especially as, I mean, based on the pace of Zetici, it doesn't really look like he's able to sort of challenge them for the podium anyway. So, I mean, obviously, again, you know, I'm touching wood as always. Oh, we've got to move up the inside of turn 1!
And some trees, but it worked! As Finn Schneider sets the fastest lap.
Oh, what a move!
Oh, that was Powers then, wasn't it? Sorry,
Yeah.
I've just clicked that was Nathaniel Powers with his teammate rapidly chasing him down.
Of all the drivers on the field, I'm not surprised that someone as experienced as Powers could... Actually, I am surprised. I'm not going to lie. I was thinking about it, and man, that was such a high-risk, low-reward maneuver. But yeah, no, Powers gets that lapping done, and that has put a car, because he would have had to wait until this hairpin really to pass. That'll be Mayer, won't it? So it effectively helps him pull out an extra bit of gap on his teammate, who he's probably hoping desperately to keep behind. Speaking of keeping behind here, we've got Zylander fighting for his life in 8th place here. He's got Cesar and Kanga right up his chuff, but they're not going for the inside. It looks like, yeah, Cesar's got that move done, so Cesar moves up to 8th place, demotes the Belgian to 9th, and yeah, really rough time it looks like on those hards. They don't really look capable of putting up any kind of defense, as now we've got Giordano looking for a move on Clean. Doesn't quite pull it off though, as he's just sort of... Oh no, sorry, I was putting... I had him the wrong route. Giordano does pull it off well before the braking zone and settles back into the racing line. And now we got, that is Schneider making a lap on... Oh, there's contact in the braking zone! Oh, that looked like it might have just been Schneider coming across a little bit, and Mayer just being caught unawares, getting his braking wrong. Hopefully there's no damage for the young Swiss, but yeah, he's now right on the back of his multiple world champion teammates. So
former teammates there, Schneider and Mayer.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one season AMR, yeah. I forgot.
Absolutely. Do you know, I've got to be honest, Schneider's pace at the moment is looking absolutely mega. If he can clear Powers pretty quickly, it's only 13 seconds up the road to Klaas van Snelheid, and there's over 10 laps left yet. It's a hell of an arse, don't get me wrong, it's going to have to be over a second a lap. But with, you know, Klaas on wearing mediums and Schneider still on fairly fresh softs.
Yeah, true. It could still be on.
Yeah, I don't think this is actually over yet, as we thought maybe it was. And Powers does indeed allow Schneider through, or I don't think there was really anything you could do to fight that, to be honest. But Schneider is through and back up into second place then, and will set off in pursuit of the race leader.
It does look like the softs kind of have been the tyre of choice for the day, to be fair.
They didn't look great in the first stint, but since
no,
then they've come alive.
Yeah, they've really just sort of... it's like the longer the race has gone, I guess maybe as well, the more the track's rubbered in. I mean, to be fair, we have a pit lane expert sitting well, down in the pits. Why do you reckon could the? This is quite a question to just drop on you. Why do you reckon these softs might have now been coming to the drivers when early doors they really seem to struggle?
So obviously we started the race at kind of around 3 p.m. local time, with a nice warm circuit. I think just as that sun's starting to drop, I know we're only about an hour into the race, as I think we see one of the back markers from the monitor there having a bit of fun. But essentially what we're seeing is those temperatures have just dropped off ever so slightly as we head into the late afternoon here in Adelaide, and all it's doing is the softer compounds just getting that little bit more bite in the circuit. So we might find that, yeah, there's just a little bit of a difference in that tyre performance as the temperatures. Oh wow! I'm telling you what, I should probably watch the monitor and hand over to you guys rather than talk about tyres. What action we've had today.
Zatici got very, very close there to the back of Nathaniel Powers, and I think Schneider is getting a little bit caught up in traffic. He's lost 2 seconds to Klaas-Van Snelheid since he got through, and I think, unfortunately, that might put any hope of a challenge for the lead to bed as soon as it appeared. But the three of them are nose to tail. Yeah, Zatici with his nose down the inside then. And this is getting really close. This is looking like the end of the race last year, isn't it?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, it is. Completely caught up in traffic and such, and bit of chaos. And, well, be interesting to see if it does lead to a bit of a spontaneous position change like last year. Schneider goes for the outside. Oh, it's already done before the hairpin. And so is Powers. Oh, that's rough. Although it's lapping, so it's not actually that bad. Zatici can't get it done, though. Interesting.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay.
I am with you.
I was like, I guess Bradley's just passed away. Happens. But Schneider is, yeah, looking at the gap now. Schneider he's going to be caught up behind, I'm guessing that's Takahashi.
Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it?
Yeah, based on that, although
no,
actually,
I don't know, it is, it's Zientech,
no, it should be Zientech, yeah.
Because it's Ryan they've just lapped, isn't it?
Yeah, oh wow, huge sideways moment through the S's. But I will say, just a quick side note, Zientech, to be this close to Takahashi, probably the best effort we've seen so far from somebody who's been pitted against Takahashi. Obviously, the Japanese driver he's renowned for just obliterating his teammates. And while there's about an 8-second gap or so difference, towards the end of the race distance, that's a good effort, I think. I think Zientech can be proud of himself from that one. Yeah,
I think he seemed closer in the race than he was in qualifying.
Oh, big time, big time.
As that is our race leader. We haven't seen an awful lot of him, to be honest.
Not many have,
but
he's just been sort of gone.
But yeah, exactly, and that must be Hector Draper then. I'm assuming that he's just put a lap on. There's definitely a North Star. But there's no way it's Brock Kidd yet.
Oh, who's that in front of him?
That's Giordano. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll definitely be.
Giordano, to be 15th is definitely not where he wanted to be when he qualified in 6th or 7th, wherever it was. 6th, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was 6th. I think he split the Porsches, didn't he?
He did, yeah, because it was him, then Kinnaman, and then
further down slightly.
Yeah, McLaughlin was just behind Kinnaman, I want to say.
But yeah, I definitely think Giordano was P6. And no, you're right. It wouldn't have been what he wanted. But I think
he's had a good race.
Yeah, I think they can be pleased with the pace that they've shown, if nothing else.
Yeah.
I think they've, especially with Cesar in 8th, it very much shows that I think they can have both cars fighting for, the sort of the middle to the back end of the points in most races, at least in the early part of this season.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously, for the team that is 5th fastest, that's not a bad effort.
That's Escalar going past Alar Kanga. We'll come back to that joke in a second. That is one Estonian passing another. Then Escalar goes up to 9th as behind him. That is James Vasquez. Was that Vasquez putting a move on Kid?
Yes, it was.
Wow, Vasquez's race has really not gone anywhere,
Really
has it?
fallen off. This is probably the worst case scenario for Vasquez. He's been given the lead of the team, and he has a new teammate who has come in and spat on him this weekend, basically. He has.
I spit on you.
I spit on you too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what Kanka's done. I can't do like I don't know an Estonian accent, but I did have a really nice mug of root beer in Port Tallinn once. That was so I can't do the accent. But as we head into lap 55 now, there is I think Rob has a little. I'm not going to claim like credit for this little chat that's happened next, but Rob, you had a little suggestion for something we should discuss.
Yeah, I think that looking at the leaderboard on the left-hand side of our screens here, I think one of the themes that I think we're going to see all season is the rookies, because there are some rookies in some really plum seats, I think, relatively speaking, to what we see some years. So I think as we end race 1, we should do what all good pundits do and pick someone that we think is going to be Rookie of the Year far ahead of when we should.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good shot. Oh, so we've got Zatichi is going for a move. I'm just going to cut across you guys real quick. He's around the outside and he might be able to stick it through the... Oh, he's just about got it done. Powers has to yield. There's no space as he rides that curb. Wow. Zatichi puts himself into 3rd place. Fair play from the Italian. I was writing him off of a podium just 10-20 minutes ago, and he's put himself right back in there.
Yeah,
so was his team boss, to be fair.
Wow, Zatichi done very well, admittedly, to put himself back into the podium. But I think what's interesting there is the fact that we've mostly seen overtakes into that hairpin on the inside. But that's now the 2nd time that Zatichi on Nathaniel Powers has made the outside line work. Admittedly, there is a significant difference in tyre grip, but I still don't think that's a bad effort to put the same move over twice on a 5-time world champion.
Yeah, I think he could be happy with that one. It was a really good move.
Gonna sack him yet.
Yeah, he's earned himself another race with that,
I'd also like, on this note, I'm really sorry, Clean, for what I'm about to do to you, but I can't help but notice Perez is just about caught up to him. He lost a pit stop to the entire field, and yet he's made that up to his teammate towards the end of the race. That is, I mean, Clean, we know he's not as fast as Perez, but that is quite a poor show from Clean.
Yeah, it's
I
not
think
the
if
best,
you can make up a pit stop on your teammate, yeah, it's really... I mean, Klaas has almost made a pit stop on his, and that's, again, it's tough,
Yeah, very much so. There are some big gaps between teammates, aren't they? Like, Klaas and Zatichi, Ruiz and McLaughlin.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as I spotted it. That's also nearly a pit stop. That's... I mean, McLaughlin, you can give him a little bit, to be honest. Kind of... Yeah, true. Actually, we didn't check the pit deltas earlier on. Also, if we're calling rookies for the season, as there goes Perez on his teammate, which means that... Oh, God! Oh, it's 3 wide into the head!
Wow. Zatichi's done the pair of them!
Zatici's woken up here.
Hasn't he just?
Speechless, yeah.
Maybe he's got a live feed of the commentary and didn't quite appreciate what I'd said.
If he has, I think you should stay in the booth and lock the door.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, I'm gonna say that I reckon Escala is gonna be the Rookie of the Year. He's put in a fantastic performance with a pretty experienced teammate. Yes, McLaughlin has driven well, but he has also lost like nearly a pit stop to his teammate. I reckon Escala, he already strikes me as the type of driver that can like dig deep and pull it out of the bag when he needs to,
Yeah, very much so.
Both gone for Escala then.
Yes.
I'm gonna go different, and I'm gonna go for Felipe Cesar. We've got less evidence because obviously Giordano has had a troubled race, but Cesar looks very solid as a pair of hands, and I think that he's probably, as you've mentioned, one of our older rookies in Formula Vert. But that comes with a body of experience, and I think that experience will show as the season wears on.
Yeah, very much so. I think Cesar's put in, there were a lot of people writing him off before the start of the season, which surprised me somewhat. But I think he's put in a very impressive display here. Just a note to our other rookie, we've covered pretty much all of them. Hector Draper, 7 seconds behind Brock Kidd, who's shown really well in that North Star. I don't think that's a bad effort either.
That's very true.
True.
Yeah.
Got to hand that to him.
I've got to say, I do think this is the best batch of rookies we've had introduced to the sport ever.
It's hugely strong. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a very good contingent. I'm just noting, yes, obviously McLaughlin 21 seconds behind his teammate, but I think what we're seeing here, what this demonstrates, is actually the top 3 teams, and we've not really covered this, but I think they might have quite an advantage.
Bro, they have a lot of a gap.
Oh, even McLaughlin is 7 seconds
yeah.
clear of the next car.
It was Ruiz puts a lap on. Oh, and
hello, he's on the inside of Powers! Ruiz on Nathaniel Powers! He was done here on the final lap by Powers last year for second, and this year he's got his own back.
Didn't even. I thought he was just going to lap him, but then he just went super late on the brakes. Obviously, these guys, rivals since, for a very long time, many years, these guys have been scrapping with each other. And man, that is huge. Powers relegated to 5th then.
Yeah.
Ruiz, obviously, I don't think he'll make the catch, but he's only 5 seconds out from a podium. Huge effort there.
Yeah, that was exceptional from Ruiz. I think he very much saw red from last year, didn't he? And went, I am having this.
Oh man.
But as we jump on board with Klaas van Snelheid, then he rounds the hairpin for what has very quickly become the final time, and there's only a handful of corners. It's been a fairly dominant, you have to admit, display from the Dutchman. Quickest in practice, took pole position by a reasonable margin. And he didn't quite lead every lap. He's not taking the fastest lap because Schneider's on softs, but Klaas van Snelheid has been dominant here today. And Van Snelheid wins in Australia for the first race of 2023 then. And that's great for him, but surely the story is behind him, because Finn Schneider rounds the final corner. Schneider crosses the line. He's slogged away with AMR for years and years and years, and finally they get the reward. Schneider has taken AMR's first ever podium at home here in Australia.
Good on him. That was a great drive.
Brilliant result for both Schneider and the team then. Zatici completes the podium with Ruiz nicking 4th place from Powers right at the end. Powers then has to settle for 5th. McLaughlin, a very, very solid drive then in his first outing for Porsche. It's only his 2nd race to take 6th. Will Taylor only 8 seconds back in the Phoenix. It's a strong result from Phoenix after not the best of qualifying sessions. They take 7th and 8th. Very much best of the rest then. Cesar, a solid debut in 9th, which means 3 of the rookies essentially score points here today. And Alar Kanga rounding out the point scorers.
Yeah, absolutely great effort from those 3 rookies, as you said, but this is the man of the hour. Klaas, what an amazing drive.
It is. As Klaas heads back to the pits to start the celebrations and the podium. Here come the drivers out onto the podium then. In 3rd place for the Downton FB team, with his 8th career podium and 1st in Australia, Matteo Zatici. In 2nd place for Arnello, Milner and Ronson Autosport, securing his best ever race result and his team's maiden podium finish at their home race, Finn Schneider. And on to the top step then, also for the Downton FB team, taking victory in the season opener for the first time in his career, Klaas van Snelheid. And in his honour, the Dutch national anthem. there we have it then. Class and Downton come good on their pre-season promise to win the opening race here in Australia, but Finn Schneider and AMR surely the story of the day. They do look like genuine contenders there in second place with Satichi rounding out the podium. Ruiz with that late overtake, stealing P4 from Nathaniel Powers. The Brit won't be too happy about that. And a solid race from Alex McLaughlin in P6. Escalar and Cesar also picking up decent points for their teams then in their maiden races. And there were no retirements in this race here today in the opening race of 2023 as Matteo Zatici took the fastest lap for Downton on the soft tyres. The Drivers' Championship, well, it's as the race finished, obviously. So we've got the top 6. Will Taylor 7th, strong result for Phoenix. He was very much best of the rest. Alar Kanga securing 1 point for the Ingram team. They'd have been hoping for more, but it is a start at least. Peugeot Westwood disappointed not to take anything away from this weekend, and we'll see where that leaves them in the constructors in a minute. Thierry Zylander slightly further back, Brock Kidd and Hector Draper finishing nose to tail, and then towards the bottom of the Drivers' Championship, all of those drivers who did not qualify for the race here today. And in the constructors, well, obviously Downton are at the top with 40 points, 12 clear of AMR. It's Porsche in third ahead of Phoenix, Ocelot and Ingram the top 6, rounding out the point scorers. Peugeot Westwood are best of the rest. Towards the bottom, Lamborghini have currently slipped into that bottom 5 in place of Peugeot. But that's all from our race here today at Adelaide. So from me, Harry and Rob, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time for round 2 from Sepang, Malaysia.